Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello, welcome to Seagulls Social, Season 4, Episode 46. We are still in Season 4. Season 5 is fastly approaching, Ryan, isn't it? Really close.
On what planet is this Season 4? Seriously,
Mate,
this is just ridiculous now.
Relax. It's really hot.
There's
I've said that about 18
and then
times
there's
off air.
Season 4 in... That's almost... We're practically in July. This cannot physically possibly be Season 4.
Well, we're going to do it how we've done every single... We're going to do it how we've done every single year. And as soon as the first game of the season is upon us, then it's the new season.
For me, it's always 1st of July. Once 1st of July, you tick over to the new season.
Yeah, we're not playing Football Manager here, mate. We're running podcast. Established podcast in the... Established podcast in the football
End
world.
season on the FIFA career mode. That's why.
Yeah.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
when you know.
Anyway, we managed to get Jack finally. Jack's been pestering me, and I've been pestering him as well to get on. But we finally got you, Jack. How are you? We've missed you so much.
Yeah, good. You seem to pick day. I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was like the only day I wasn't free all week. I was playing five-a-side.
Yeah, I think you messaged me being like, I'm free every single day this week. And then I said, what about Wednesday? And you were like, oh, I can't do Wednesday. I'm actually playing
The only day. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's good to be back. I haven't really. Do you know? It's been. I mean, how many games did I go to last season? I did 72 Brighton games.
Two.
72 Brighton games of like 21s, women's and men's, and then 169 overall. So it's quite nice to have a break. I think the last game I went to was Man United. I stuck in a England-Iceland friendly, which was pretty dire. But other than that, it's been quite nice to have no football for a while.
It has been really nice. Ryan, how are you finding the break? Obviously, when we were like, right, let's do a podcast today, what are we going to talk about? Not really much is going on, is there, in the Brighton world?
So boring, mate. But I've got to be honest, the Euros keep me entertained.
Yeah.
It's been a very good tournament, actually. It's been up there. Do you know what? My cousin still hasn't sent me his bank details for these, by the way. But he bought me one of them sticker book things. You know, the Euro stickers, and I've never done them
in primary
before,
school.
And I thought,
yeah,
I've never done them, but I'm trying it out. If anyone knows where I can get them cheaper than spending ridiculous money on stickers, that'd be great.
No, you can't.
But no, it's just kept me entertained. I mean, this is what happens when you don't watch football, isn't it? You start putting stickers in a book about it.
Yeah, it's tragic.
But look, I do miss it. But you know, Jack's got the Japan shirt on there. He's doing more than me because he's going to the pre-season, so that's crazy. I want to be.
Yes. Jack, tell us about that. That could be the podcast. And we can get after that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be sick out in Japan.
Couple minutes about this, milk it.
Part of the world I've never been to before. It's really high on my bucket list to sort of visit, and I think there's no better opportunity than to do it for a Brighton pre-season tour. I'm not just going for the football though. I'm not like literally flying in for the game and flying back out. I've got about 10 days, 2 weeks there. So, I'm going to a J-League game. I think I found a 3rd division game to go to as well. So, see what that's like, as well as just, like, generally everything to enjoy in Tokyo. So
you're going to try and discover the next Matoma, are you? Is that your plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. I think there was a game I looked at, which was in the 6th
Go
division.
to the university.
Yeah, it was Tokyo University versus someone. And I did look at that and I was like, nah, I can't be bothered to go to that. I'm not going to go to 6th division. Japanese
6th
football.
division. Bloody hell.
But yeah, no, it should be good. I'm sure I'll spam it on my social media. So if you follow me on that, you'll probably get some stupid videos of me.
Who are you going with, Jack?
Pretty much. Well, I'll go with a few people I know from football. Not people I usually. Well, I usually see them on away games, but
Any of
mainly
the usual Motley crew?
No, I couldn't tempt any of them. I think they're not made of money. But there's some people I know, but I'm sort of staying on my own a little bit, so it'd be an interesting experience. Meeting up with them midday. I've got a pod hotel as well. That should be fun.
Okay. I'm saying we should strap a GoPro to you and just live stream the whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
That would be unbelievable content. Imagine all of the Japanese people bumping into Jack like this big ginger lad with a huge beard, taking pictures with him. It's going to be so funny.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see everything about it. But yeah, I'm very jealous, Jack. That sounds class. And fair play to you. And also, fair play to anyone that's going to Japan because it's a hell of a lot of money. So that's great dedication. Obviously,
it really is. It seriously is, but it's fine.
I complained about going to Burnley, which is really, really far up north. You're going to Japan
as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a lot worse in terms of looking at it as well, I guess, have fun, mate. Hopefully we'll be able to... Well, you're going to be witnessing Hursla's first game, obviously, I imagine. So that'll be pretty mad.
And Dewsbury Halls.
Yes, so as it's the Euro, should we talk about Lewis Dunk not playing any minutes? I did buy a shirt. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. That's not from DHgate, so it's from the actual Nike shop. So, and then I've spent 150 quid on that. He's not even going to play, is he? And we probably will go out in the groups or round of 16. So I'm only going to be able to wear it twice potentially. But yeah, what are your thoughts? And let's actually just do Gareth Southgate in England chat. Let's skip Brighton for a little bit and just talk about that, because that is mental, isn't it? Like the whole midfield issue. Why are we so rubbish when we've got such good players? Ryan, you go.
Oh, go on, Ryan. Yeah, you go first.
Me go. Oh, mate, get me into Southgate. Give it to me. I mean, I think I was complaining about it in the last Euros on this exact channel, moaning about Southgate and saying, I'd be surprised if he gets through another tournament. He's had 2 since. And I've got to be honest, I don't know what it is. With England, I do care. I do love it. But I still don't celebrate a goal like I would Brighton. It still doesn't just mean that much. Maybe it's just me. But it doesn't go for me as much as maybe, throwing your £7 pint from Box Park, people like to do. God, don't get me started on that. What an absolute joke. Absolute mockery of the beautiful game that is. But look, I've got to be honest, the midfield situation is a bit of a joke, but at the same time, I think it goes further than that. How can we possibly bring in Conor Gallagher, right? Fine decision, wouldn't completely argue with it, although the pros of bringing in Gallagher is what Southgate won't do with him anyway. And you've got Mainu, you've got Wharton, both very, very, very good players, obviously, in the latter end of last season. But we're not creating anything. We're not exactly having a bunch of shots. I think we got one of the lowest shots in the whole tournament so far. So it's not like we're drastically lacking sort of that Trent problem that everyone was making out. We're actually just not creating anything. Our big players like Bellingham and Kane and Saka and Foden, they're not even having shots. And these are all world-class talents that I mentioned. So it goes deeper than just making one change to bring Gallagher in. Don't get me wrong, it might help a little bit. And I do agree with the notion that Trent wasn't working. But it's just a bit of a mess from the get-go, isn't it?
But even just not bringing a left back, I know they're hoping Luke Shaw's going to be fit for the knockouts, but starting Trippier. I mean, I hate to say it because there's already 4 Palace players there, but why not just bring like Tyreek Mitchell? Is it Tyreek Mitchell their left back? Yeah, why not just play an actual left back who's got a left foot? It makes a huge
bring
difference.
A left-footed left back, that's literally it. It doesn't even matter if they play, just bring someone in case we need them.
It's mad. Yeah, it's silly. But yeah, Jack, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
it's been pretty toxic.
Yeah, it's I find it quite hard to watch England sometimes because the expectation levels are so different. Like I watched the Serbia game and I just think if Brighton put in a performance like that, I probably wouldn't complain at all. Like I know that sounds really weird, but like if we beat a team which has got semi-decent players over the pitch, especially one with Mitrovic, I'd watch that and go, yeah, we defended that really well, good 3 points in a row. But like with England, when you've got the talent available, I don't think the warning signs were there after the Serbia game, but then after the Denmark game, just didn't do anything to build upon that. Like sometimes in the group stage, you do just have to play dirty and kind of get the points to get through, which obviously, we should be doing better, but I'd have no shame in just beating Serbia 1-0 and getting the 3 points on board. I think it's unlikely that... I think he got the points to go through. And we did draw the middle game at the last 2 tournaments. Yeah. And everybody prophesied...
But against Scotland and USA, like it's teams that we should be beating. That's
so I think...
And it's just the tactics though, Jack. Like, BBC showed an insane graphic at half-time with Denmark. It was before our goal, all the positions so attacking. And as soon as we scored... everyone sat back like, why are we sitting back? Maybe Denmark. I understand Denmark are a bit tougher, but maybe in the first half against Slovenia, was that the first match or Serbia? Serbia. We were really, really good in the first half, and then the second half just sat back and it almost drew that game. It's like, why are we not finishing teams off? Like we have the players to do it. Surely Southgate
what's the point
should have the tactics to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think like we're not exactly not stacked with attacking talent. No. If you're going to kill teams off, it's a bit different to talking about Brighton, isn't it? When João Pedro's not firing, we have to take him out and we don't quite have anyone to really fill him or whatever it might be in an injury situation. We've got Bellingham, we've got Saka, we've got Kane. I don't need to go over it. Bringing on Watkins, for God's sake. But these are great players. We shouldn't be complaining about our attacking problems. There shouldn't even be a conversation. So I'm not surprised to some extent. I didn't think that, I said it before the tournament a long time ago. I said all the time Southgate's manager. Unfortunately, I just don't see us winning stuff. If we go and win the Euros now and this gets clipped, then this is absolutely great. I'm really, really happy about it. Future me will be very happy about it. But if I'm honest with you, I can't see us getting anywhere close. And I don't think Austria, if we do get them in the next round, will be any pushovers, because Rangnick's playing some very nice football with them.
Ralphie Rangnick's balling out. And then I guess...
That's a problem.
Yeah, I was just going to say on that. Yeah, I don't know. I just think... do you know what I almost think it is? I think he's almost done too much fan service. People have been calling out for Trent to play in midfield for some reason for ages, and he's been like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Or, people going on about playing Foden in midfield. Foden, if he's not in the 10, he's not really going to work. So, I don't know. I just think he's just done some weird stuff at this tournament. At least at other tournaments, he sort of stuck to a system, played the system.
Bring in Trent, though. If you're going to put him in midfield, don't just bottle it after 2 games because everyone's complaining about it, and then get every single player to complain about the fans complaining about it. You're the one that made a decision. Stick with it. You see Zerbi last season. He put Steele in. A lot of people didn't agree with him. He did agree with himself, so he left it. Regardless of whether it was the right decision or not, he stuck with it, and that's what good managers do. You don't bottle it after 2 games and a draw against Denmark. It's just pretty embarrassing.
I think it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow. Probably one of the most baffling comments ever in a post-match interview that anybody's ever heard, which was, we haven't got a natural replacement for Calvin Phillips. Which was, when you heard that, you
play
just
him, did he, in the World Cup? You're like, what are you talking about?
To be fair, I will give him some credit in that I do think Calvin Phillips was very good for England at one time. But... Look,
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. You got to move on.
Yeah,
now.
the Euros, him and Rice were decent, weren't they?
Yeah, and if you are looking for a natural replacement for Calvin Phillips, why, if that's how you want to play, why are you not playing Gallagher then? Because he's probably the most similar to Calvin Phillips. It's just some of the decisions are just really baffling and odd. But just imagine a world where Leeds never sold Calvin Phillips to City.
Oh, no.
How long do you reckon tomorrow till Gallagher gets a yellow card? Do you reckon?
I'm probably the only Gallagher apologist in the world. I really like Gallagher.
I don't mind him, but he's just a bit of a headless chicken that will run around for a bit and then probably take someone out, get a yellow, and then he'll probably take someone out again and get a red, or at least push getting a red. Yeah. He's good. He's all right.
I'd rather him than Trent for sure. What I would do is, if I was Gareth Southgate, which I feel like I'd be able to do a better job than him, most England fans probably do, I would bring Trent out, which I think he's doing finally, bring Anthony Gordon in on the left, and then have Jude deeper and have Foden in the 10.
Put Gordon in.
Bring Gordon in, mate. Get some pace, because, I don't know, like what you kind of alluded to, Ryan, Man City buying English players, and now they're kind of ruining them. Grealish, that they bought, isn't even in the team. Calvin Phillips
they just do it for the PR, mate. They want the Instagram followers.
Literally.
They're just Instagram influencers for them.
If you're an English player and City want you, don't go, because you might not get in the England squad next time. But I can't believe I'm saying this, I'm looking forward to Graham Potter taking over England. I really think I'm not. I really do. Imagine, Jack, just picture this.
Ryan.
Jack's biggest hater with Potter is so funny.
Picture this. Imagine how the peaks of Brighton, right, under Graham Potter. Okay, imagine that, but imagine that with really, really good players that we have. That would be incredible. Would it not?
No, I'm sorry. No, I just don't like the way Potter plays. I don't think it'll work when you've only got the players available for 8 weeks in a year. Because that's what it is. It took ages to adapt to the different ways. He needs to have players who can adapt to lots of different formations. I think the only thing which I could probably see him working well with England is if he did you look at the talent we've got, maybe a 4-2-2-2, with sort of 2 central attacking midfielders, and the fullbacks pushing up high. But I don't know. I just don't think Potter's. I think he's got a perfect personality to follow on from Southgate, which is why they'll probably go for him. And don't get me wrong,
perfect yes man.
I'll be happily proved wrong on it, but I really don't think he's not very good at dealing with egos. We saw that at Chelsea. I just think it'll just be a little bit too elite for him. But then
I disagree. I think England don't. They obviously have egos, but I think they have good egos. I think Chelsea's just
to an extent. I just think it's such a pressurised job, and I just think maybe. I think if we want to win something, we're not going to win something with Graham Potter.
No,
yeah, I do agree. We will play
And
better football.
that's
and you
why-
say about the egos
Yeah.
thing. Sorry, I think I've got a delay with Jack. I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine.
You say about
It's,
the egos thing.
Oh, sorry, we fucked it again.
Yeah, it's happening again. But like, you saw how they downed the tools after we sort of conceded to Denmark. It was almost like you want a reaction out of them. Then it's a bit different when you play with Brighton and you've got a bunch of players that want to win because there's not really too much to lose if we try and win. But it seemed like everyone around them, or this goes past just management, but the players as well. They've got to take responsibility for being, sort of half interested. I didn't think that anyone really took that game by the scruff of the neck and really went, yeah, we're going to be a leader and carry England out of this bad situation. We weren't even losing the game. But out of this bit of a rut that we're in terms of creating chances and doing anything, no one did that. So there is egos there. They're all world class players. They're all on absolutely ridiculous amounts of money. So we've seen it as you say, Jack, at Chelsea, but also the criticism. You think about how criticised Southgate's been and how criticised Chelsea got. Potter couldn't even deal with boos against Leeds, mate. How on earth is he going to deal with the whole nation telling him that he shouldn't play this, shouldn't do that? He won't be able to do it. Yeah,
I also just think, like I said, if we want success and we want to win something, we've got to get a manager with a track record, in my humble opinion, and maybe that person isn't English. And I think that's what some people might need to get over with, is that we don't have many good
Tuchel,
English managers. And English managers never won the Premier League, I don't think. No, I don't think they have.
Tuchel would be good.
No,
they haven't.
No, so I don't know. I my dream one would be Mourinho, but he's just gone to become a cult leader at Fenerbahce. So
a dictator.
Yeah, the dictator. So yeah,
Suits
I
that
don't know.
role so well.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? It's weird. Of course, I'm not here to say this is boring, but I just find the whole conversation around the England squad and England team, it's so like toxic, and it doesn't really. Nobody really seems to have a sane talking point on it. It's like it's either Southgate's been our most successful manager ever, or sack him before the tournament's over. Like, there's no sort of in-between nuanced way of looking at it.
Sack him before the tournament's over.
And I think that's why I just don't think... Yeah, I think... Because it worked for Ivory Coast. And it's like...
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was... Yeah. And not like they're a completely... with all respect, their FA is run like a fucking car crash. So, like... And they've got a history of that. So, I don't know. I just think people just need to be a bit more sensible and stuff, and just sort of... I don't know.
There's no way we sack Southgate before the end of the Euros. It's
no.
But I don't think we're going to win it. To be honest, I don't think. I've got to be honest. I think we'll be lucky to even get close. If we play anything like we did the other night, tomorrow, isn't it? I'll be very surprised. And you look at that run. If it is Austria, and then the assumption that France get through. I'd be surprised to see us get through the quarters. So France haven't been too impressive, it must be said. But they'll be up for it, mate, against
Germany.
Us. I'd like to hope we're up for it against them. But yeah, I must admit, I do agree with Jack. Germany do look good.
And I've got them in
and I don't think we do. And that's it.
I've got them in the sweepstake at work as well, Germany. So,
nice.
Yeah, up. Deutschland.
Christ! Right, quickly.
Musiala, the man who grew up in London, is playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't we have some suggestions about what we should talk about? Any questions?
Yeah, no, but I just wanted to say one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea Rory made a good point. There's that meme where it's like horrendous news. Someone that you hate made a good point. I can't remember what it was. People might have seen it. Anyway, he made a really good point. I think it was an old clip, and he was saying about how Southgate is so overrated, which I think a lot of people can agree on now. So I think this was probably filmed at the beginning of the season, maybe. But he said, exactly. He said, we think we've played teams in the top 10 rankings like 24 times. We've only won 4 times. Which is outrageous, and think that's including like tournament football as well, which is terrible record. And if you're going to win a tournament, that record's got to be so much better. And you're thinking the players that we've got, how has he not managed?
I think before we do one thing,
the record's so bad.
One thing on Southgate before we end it, I will say I think it's. I'm quite hesitant to just sort of go, his entire time has been shit, because I do think there are some like benefits to his time.
2018.
You look at the state of the England squad before he came in. Like, we were losing to Iceland. Nobody wanted to support them. They're pretty abject. He's actually like made a good atmosphere and made players definitely want to play more than they did. Like, we don't have Wayne Rooney like walking off in an expletive-laden rant halfway through. Like, I mean, heritage moment. But it's such a. He's done really well at that. So I do think it is right, regardless of what happens, that he moves on at the end of the tournament. But for me, I think in the future we'll look back at his time as England probably with a bit more positivity than we do at the moment. But I think it almost reminds me a little bit of like when Wenger left. Probably not quite on that scale, but like people just like, oh, he's shit, he's doing nothing. But look, he's got us to the first final since 1966. 2018, he did really well. He's probably just slightly outstayed his welcome. I think the best time for him to have gone would be after the last World Cup would have been the perfect time.
But mate,
it is what it is.
That final against Italy, I think we had like Luke Shaw's goal was the only shot we had to target, and we were the home team playing at home in Wembley. Like, the tactics were
we sat back after we scored.
Sat back. We scored in the fucking 6 minutes
at Wembley.
Don't get me wrong.
At Wembley.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree that we should have won that or whatever. But I think, like, looking back at it in a few years, we might look at it like, oh, he got us back on track, and then we became a very good.
I'm trying
to off the pitch. He's done very well.
Sensible head. But like I struggle and the reason I struggle is because I'm now 23, right? The next time we play, I'll be 27, and the next time, well, I say that there's a World Cup in between, Euros. I'm talking. The time before that, I was 19. I hate that. The next time, and all these players are going to get older as well. To be fair to Southgate, he's been very fortunate in particularly the last 5-6 years, with the amount of players that have broke through, because the pool that we had, that Iceland 2016 and before that, don't get me wrong, the Lampard, Gerrard golden era, that was inexcusable back in the day too. But we've had a lot of big talent come through, a lot of big talent. And what's a shame is we're wasting them. And I think that's what's always going to be my biggest upset, is that, we always go on it, and we've got this reputation across Europe now. All the Europeans laugh at us, and rightly so. I'd do the same if it was the other way around, like we did with Scotland last night. But it's just frustrating, because it's that year, it's that generation, it's gone. The next time you'll be older and you'll think, oh God, here we go again. Are we going to get excited? Maybe, maybe not. Depends who's in charge. If it's Southgate again, I definitely won't be. But it won't be now, will it? But yeah, I think it's just that point of, we're so close, but a killer gets that job done at the Euros. And arguably, in the World Cup last time, I know we got knocked out to France. A lot of that was down to a pretty similar thing. We lost to another team that was half decent. I think even in that World Cup run, the only decent team we played was Belgium, and we lost that as well, and that was in the groups. And I remember that
third
specifically.
Place playoff as well.
And the third, yeah. So it's frustrating, because it's a track record now. It's not just like we missed out, it's unlucky. It's a track record. And it's a bit like Potter with the chances created thing.
The only thing I'll say to that is that, like, in previous managers couldn't beat like a Colombia, or couldn't beat a Germany.
Yeah, that Colombia was good, and Denmark Euros, I'll give credit. This is what I mean. Like, I think he's obviously doing badly now, but I don't think it's the worst reign of England managers. I just hope that we get someone in who has a good track record. He's certainly better than Hodgson.
Speaking of replacing, this brings great sadness talking about it, but Borussia Dortmund want Pascal Gross. It looks like that could be happening. What does life without Pascal Gross look like, Ryan? Because for me, that is doom and gloom. That is us relegated, because he seems to be the only person that assists anyone in our team. And I've said it in previous episodes where I've said Gross is more important in our team than Dunk. I'd rather have Gross starting than Dunk starting. That 2 years ago when Dunk was probably in more form, I think that Gross has been that vital to us in our whole time in the Premier League. What's been like 6 or 7 years. He has been our best player, one of our best players, and so vital. Like, how do we replace him? Can we replace him? We cannot replace him, I think, is the Pep Guardiola thing. But what does life without Gross look like, Ryan?
Before failing the club PR allegations, I'll say about Pascal, because that will it will be really sad. I think it will happen now, if I'm honest. Obviously, going to Dortmund is a crazy move. He's always wanted to go back to Germany, hasn't he? It's no secret. We don't not know it. It's not like breaking news to us this summer. Oh my God, Pascal could leave. I think we had this conversation a couple of years ago, and it's been one more year. It's been one more year. It's been one more year. I think on the club's perspective, I look at it of we're actually going through a big period of transition now, and more than ever, we could do with a leader like him to not leave. But by the same token, it's very hard to stop him from going. I don't agree with everyone saying we should definitely stand in his way for the fees, but I do agree to an extent of we would struggle to replace the leadership. But I'm not saying it's doom and gloom. We're going to get relegated. Going to miss Pascal Gross absolutely 100% because it's a big summer ahead for us. But I think the biggest thing that we'll miss with Pascal, as you said before, is that leadership, is those big moments. He's carried us. He's been the one to get our heads up. He's been the one to score the big goals, get the big assists. He's not one to panic on the pitch. Obviously, losing the Lana and the Zerbi as well to an extent. And it's a big period of transition. So we've got to hope if we do bring in an experienced head, they've got to be on that same sort of calibre and have that same sort of care that, particularly Pascal Gross had for this football club. So, yeah, I do agree with one side of the token of, yes, we need to keep him. We need to give him that, leadership role just for one more year to see Herzler in. But at the same time, stopping him going to Germany is going to be very difficult, particularly ones that are Champions League finalists and probably one of the most notorious football clubs in the world.
Yeah, that anyone would want to move there. Yeah, and incredible fans. Jack... Jordan Henson then, what about him as replacing Pascal Gross?
I kind of agree with Ryan that we'd struggle to stand in his way. But what for me, I think the fee's irrelevant because if he's going to leave, we aren't going to get what we want. In my view, I think he's worth 20, 30 million to us.
Yeah.
Maybe more. Because of how much...
I said he's priceless for us, really, isn't he?
Priceless. He's priceless. But at the end of the day, the only reason that Dortmund are even thinking about getting involved with the transfer with him is because they think they can get him for something around 10 million, which in my opinion is not enough. But 10 million is a drop in the ocean for football clubs now. It doesn't mean anything to us. So if we're going to sell him for 10 million, we might as well let him go for free. I'm not saying we should let him go for free. Don't get that twisted. So for me, I think if he's going to go, he's going to go. I think we should do a little bit of we really need you for this last year. His mind isn't fully made up. I think people quite quickly jump the gun on that. Me included as well.
Throw the book at him. Give him a blank check. I genuinely, for one more year, give him a blank check. Then he 100%. Can go. I know maybe then his dream of playing in the Bundesliga again will be over potentially. I doubt it will. At least a massive club in Germany. Maybe
he's one decent season for that to not happen, but maybe Dortmund wouldn't happen. That's
exactly.
I think for me, I don't know. I just think it's an interesting one. Will he play that much if he goes there? I don't know. Will he just be a bit part player?
He starts for Germany. Why not?
To an extent. For me, I'd be more interested in a Frankfurt than the Dortmund. Just because I just think you've got a bigger role to play at Frankfurt than you do Dortmund.
And the Frankfurt will be available, I imagine, next summer as well.
That's my thinking. There you go. Look, right, we're getting him to stay already.
Hopefully Pascal's listening to this. Or if Tony, you're listening to this, just play this video for him.
Look, I want him to stay, and I hope the club do everything to let him not go. But the moment he does go, obviously he'll go as a legend. Don't get me wrong. But, I don't know, replacing him I think is the most important thing. Because he brings so many goals and assists. And I've seen some absolutely, bizarre suggestions about how we replace him. We have to go out and buy someone, and we've got money in the bank.
Hinchwood, I saw one.
Yeah, Hinchwood, Moda, a midfield two of Belieber and Gilmore. These aren't sensible options. You've got to replace the goals and assists for me.
Yeah,
and Belieber and Gilmore have scored 0 goals between them for Brighton. So let's not go over that board. I think we do need to go out and spend now. I don't think obviously we can't replace him wholly because if we want to replace his numbers, we're looking at a Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne level player at this moment, because I think that's a similar amount of assists he got last season. What I want us to do is just go and look aim for a target and get him who has really good stats. Maybe he's a bit younger, probably from abroad, and actually just like don't fuck about with it. And I think I said it a bit tongue in cheek on Twitter, but like I just remember the Kudus negotiations of last year. Like Kudus would have infinitely improved our team massively, and this is not to go back. Same with Cole Palmer. If we're bartering over 5 million to get this massive replacement, obviously it's not my money, and I understand that we want to get value out of it, and I totally get that. But I just want us to go and make a beeline for our target and get him. Like, you know, you look at Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, you look at Max, whatever his name is, Wiffer.
FIFA, yeah.
I can't, you know, there's options out there. So I just want us to go and make a good signing.
Like a marquee signing.
Yeah, a marquee signing, because that's what I think we need to do. And you know, we've spoken a lot about how we want to spend a lot this summer.
Cool.
And this is not putting pressure on the club, but I just think it's so important to get this replacement right. Even if he stays, because at the end of the day, if he stays for another year, he's still going to go at the end of next season. So we need to, and you know, we are in a good position with PSR, with everything. So it'd be good to see if we can get that over the line this window.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just think that's so important. Yeah.
Do you think under Hersler, let's say Gross does stay, do you think our lineup changes at all, or the players that play? I think Maverick asked, "What does life under Hersler look like?"
Different.
Or what does the lineup look like?
Different. Yeah. I don't know, because we need
hopefully
to get through
Bart
this
in goal
transfer window.
for one.
Yeah, Bart should be in goal.
Yeah,
but yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to get through. You know, there's things that will happen. I think fans should be patient, definitely, because it is a big summer and it's a long summer. People forget, like, you see Gross linked away, you see Undav linked away. You forget that when you look back on, like, last summer, for example, how many moments in June or how many moments in early July you completely forget about, links that you completely forget about come August, come September, because of how long that summer transfer window is. 1 week is a long time in football. And speaking of which, on the 30th of June, isn't it, is it like the big sort of 6-7 clubs that have to sell their best assets and stuff like that? And to think we're sniffing around a few of those. Obviously, we've mentioned one of them from Leicester, but we've also looking at the guy from Minte from Newcastle. So there's players there, and there's obviously, you know, some that probably won't even be public knowledge that are players that have to get rid of before even Sunday. So you think between now and Sunday, how much things that I say now and you say now could be outdated. So I don't want to say too much about what formation and what players start, because realistically, I don't even know who's going to be going to Japan yet, apart from Jack.
From Jack, yeah.
I think we need to just calm down a bit, because there's a long transfer window to go. Don't worry too much about who's going to start the first game.
I think he's quite radical as well. Like he's not someone who is particularly conventional with his formations and setups, and you know, he's got a little bit of the Potter about him. Me saying something positive about Potter, in that he does change it up quite a lot, and he does try out different systems.
Which overload as well, which is nice.
Yeah, which is to be fair, the one sort of thing I did quite like about Potter at the time, is that we can change stuff up, and I think that was a little bit of a frustration that I had with Zerbi, is that he really did stick to his guns, which was nice. You know, 80% of the time it did work, but. So I think it'll be interesting to see. You know, you see all this stuff. Oh yeah, he plays without a midfield and stuff like that. Like, I don't know whether that's all just clickbaity bollocks.
Yeah, that thumbnail.
But yeah, you know, he definitely favours three at the back. So it'll be interesting to see.
Wise.
And then
we haven't played that for a while.
Nicholas Castilla says, "I know this might be tough again, predicting the lineup, but kind of similar. What are your expectations, Ryan, for next season? Or are there none? Because for me, I have no expectations yet, really. We kind of need to look at the squad, don't we?
You have to look at the squad. I think when you look at it based on sort of briefs and what we've been told and what we know, I want us competing for Europe again, because that's the target that Bloom set. That's the target the club set. So, you know, there's no reason why fans shouldn't follow that same notion. I don't think, you know, we should be getting too carried away yet, because obviously, as I said before, we don't know what our team's going to be. But I want us to compete. Of course I do. We don't want to miss out on potential greatness that we could have. We don't know what Hertz is going to be like yet, of course, but we have at the moment still got a very stacked, good, talented squad. There's a lot of good players there that a lot of people forget. Karo Matoma, Solly March have been out for so long, Julio Enciso, João Pedro. These are players that would be, big clubs would love to have at their disposal. Carlos Baleba, Valentin Barco. These are players that could also break out. Jan-Paul Van Hecker, as we saw last season, broke out. We didn't even really talk about him last June. So, there's going to be a very, very big change, of course. But, remember the players that are here. We've got some very good ones. So the expectation should be, of course, let's go for Europe.
What are your expectations? What would be a good season? I guess you could say Europe, but realistically, would you take
Europe?
Would you take a mid-table finish right now if I offered it to you?
Do you know what? I always separate the Premier League into three different leagues in my head. So you sort of have the top six, which is going for Europe, in amongst Europe places, or maybe down to about eighth. Teams who realistically are in a chance for Europe. Then you've got this weird middle section, and I think we sort of finished it in our last year under Potter and last season, where, we still finished 11th last season, which is a pretty good finish. And if you finish anywhere between, I don't know exactly, but looking at the table from, I remember last season under Potter, we were 13th at half time, and then by full time we were 9th, and that just completely changed your season. And then, of course, you have the relegation group. I don't want us to be involved in the relegation group. For me, a great season would be top. Edge of Europe group, sort of 8th and above. Realistic expectation for the season, probably to not be in relegation trouble, but not to be looking over our shoulders going into the last 3 or 4 games, like with this season. A similar season, I think, is going to be transitional. You're going to change staff. It depends on who the squad. I think a big amount of the expectation for this season depends on the squad, not the manager. I've not got huge expectations for the manager. I want to see what he does with the squad, because the squad is what he's got to work with, and that's what he's that he's known for doing. Coming and work, he came into San Paulo, he worked with the squad that he was given. So if we can give him really good tools to do it, it's not like we're going, right, we've got a really bad squad, work with that. Let's see if we can give him a good squad, and there's no reason why we can't push Europe. But at the same time, if we have a bad transfer window, doesn't quite get going, we could be in the relegation group or on the edge of the relegation group.
I think our squad's too good to be in relegation. Regardless.
That's famous last words, isn't it? Then?
No, it is. Clip this now.
I think we've got a little bit unfortunate this year in that I think the 3 coming up are better placed than last year. Last year it was, with all respect, pathetic. For staying up to be 27 points. Which was the final.
Mate, this season the Prem is looking good. In terms of quality, it could be a really tough year in terms of competition. And you see the likes of Villa last season, obviously getting into the top 4, and the season before that was Newcastle, and us even to some extent of being such a big surprise to the league. There could be a couple that follow, and I think it could be really interesting. But I still want us to stay and maintain our standards. I don't want us to be dropping down and trying to convince ourselves that that's all right, because otherwise we're no different to the allegations of Southampton and the likes that we got given before then. So we don't want to fall into that trap of accepting less, because otherwise I think we lose that integrity of being the different ones, being Brighton, being the ones that are the best in the game with recruitment and Tony Bloom's visions and all that sort of stuff.
I think, and I don't want to single this person out who replied to me the other night, and I was probably a little bit short with him in my reply. I didn't mean for it to be that way. I just wanted to make the point. Is that, they said we win by, it was something like we win by the amount of that we're good in the market and we don't. And I said, at the end of the day, the profit means absolutely nothing. Yeah, it means nothing to me. If we're just here to make the best profit in the league, it's a little bit boring. And I think the club know that. The club that aren't just here to make a profit. We want to be...
Stick that in the trophy cabinet.
We want success on the field, because ultimately success on the field brings you more money.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, and that's not the sole reason, but it is good.
Yeah.
I don't want us to get stuck in this rut where, I can't think of many clubs like it recently. Maybe Southampton to a degree, who just kept on making money, and selling on
best
players.
Player 90 plus 10.
Yeah, and then eventually it just gets to the point, like it did with Southampton, where you'd sell on your best player every year, you get a big thing for it, you bring in some, and then every now and then it wouldn't work, and they just sort of slowly declined until they got relegated.
Well, you could compare, like, we've just lost to Zerbi. It's a bit like Southampton losing Poch, I guess. The Zerbi's gone to Marseille, boys. That is.
Have they actually been confirmed yet?
Well, pretty much, isn't it?
It just seems to be like everything in this window. I don't know whether it's Fabrizio Romano. I'm going to go on a rant here, but
Here we go.
no, everything is so fucking prolonged. Like everything is like,
It's because everyone jumps the gun for exclusives now. That's why.
Yeah, and it's
true.
It's like the Mbappe transfer. Everybody knew Mbappe was going to Real Madrid at like mid-April. Like it was pretty much reported everywhere that he wanted to go there. And then every single
all
day,
the aggregators share the news and the journalists are jumping the gun. And then what that's doing is it's putting it out to a wider audience, so people are bidding for different players. So it's actually upsetting the entire transfer market.
Yeah,
spoke to an agent about it. It's really interesting. They really rely on social media to drum up their players.
It's just because it's like this De Zerbi to Marseille thing. It's just like every now and then I just see a new tweet, and like I was talking to my mate Ollie about it, because Ollie's like obsessed with Marseille and De Zerbi, so it's like the perfect combination for him to commit a murder before a game somewhere, probably. But yeah, the thing is, it's like he's been every now and then I just see them probably like, oh, De Zerbi's trying to organise all his staff. It's like, when's it getting announced? And it's like Ben just said, oh yeah, he's going to Marseille. There's no confirmation.
I was just saying it because
no, and I'm
not. It's just like everyone was, oh, he's going. It's pretty much done.
Of course, I'm not having a go, but he's saying like, and I probably would have said the same. And like when I said, has he actually gone there yet? It just seems to be just going on and on and on, and it's almost like Herzler went on for like a week longer than it ever had to.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't agreed anything, but it's like, oh yeah, we've almost agreed it. We've almost agreed it. Have we agreed it? No, we haven't quite agreed it. And it was just like, I just find it bizarre. I find all this sort of rumour mill and stuff. It's quite nice to check out. Speaking
of rumours, Ryan, what on earth is going on with Deniz Undav? Does he want to stay at Brighton? Does he want to go to Stuttgart? Like, what can you tell us, mate?
Who cares? No, I can't say that. I don't know.
a little
Get
bit.
a load of money.
A little bit
of money. That's, I think, what it is. I mean, look, I read in between the lines of these things. You see club brief, you see agent brief, and then you see Stuttgart brief. So then you've got to find out a middle in between all of them. So you've got to think of what Brighton want you to know, what Stuttgart want you to know, and what the player wants you to know. Somewhere in between that is a lot of money and a bigger contract. And I think that's really all that's going on. It's just constant merry-go-round. I'm not quite sure what the specifics are. Obviously, they're saying we've got a buyback if they were to buy him. As I said to you earlier in this podcast, by the time the 30th of June comes around, I think a lot of deals are going to happen this week, which is why it's going to be quite an interesting one. So I wanted us to do a podcast actually now, just to sort of look back on it at the end of this week, just to see if anything big does happen and change. But I would anticipate something to happen. I don't think that nothing will happen. I think that there's too much smoke now to not have any fire. But I must admit, I made Jack laugh for that one.
No, the Phil Foden song. Just when you said smoke without fire,
the Foden
just
song.
instantly
That's actually quite funny, to be fair. Bruce Springsteen would have been proud of me bringing up that one. But I don't know.
For me, Ryan,
to be honest,
I've seen that.
Does it really matter that much to us?
Well, I've seen that he doesn't want to rejoin us or come back. So like, if he doesn't actually want to be here, then why don't we cash in?
So there's the agent brief
that's reported.
Yeah, but then that's so they want you to they want the fans to turn on him, so they get a cheaper bid in. That's what I'm saying. There's always somewhere in between every single piece of information. So they want it to look like Undav wants to leave, so Undav doesn't want to be at Brighton anymore, right? So Brighton fans are then going to read that and think, well, if you don't want to be here, then get rid of him, no matter what. So then that's where the upper hand is coming. Then we're looking at it saying, no, we want to keep him. We've spoke to him. We want to keep him, blah, 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 blah. He hasn't had the full conversations. Keeps the price high, right? Then you've got the in-between of clubs agreeing that price. Whether that price ever happens or not, who knows? But that's the fun of the transfer window.
It's mental,
and that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. But it's all just brief. Leicester were saying that we didn't even want. They want to keep Dewsbury Hall, weren't they? In the January window. Other people were saying that it was almost definitely was going to go. Basically, all it is just brief. It's not that people don't know; it's what they're being told to say, and that's it. I might get killed now for saying all that.
Yeah,
stuff,
no, I think you're spot on, and I think that also lines up with my weird little rant I had about Fabrizio Romano and all this stuff, and it is fucking draining. To an extent, if you pay too much attention to it,
it's just what people want.
And I think you bang on.
That's it.
You're bang on about Undav. For me personally, look, he doesn't want to be here. I think there's two situations here. I think Brighton have their back covered perfectly. By the way, here,
yeah.
In Brighton, they just wait for. If they want him, activate the 20 million release clause. That's all you have to do. So why aren't Stuttgart doing that? Because they either don't want to put all that money into Undav, because they don't rate him that highly, and I don't think they rate themselves as they don't rate themselves as a club, or they haven't got the funds. I don't know. German
not
football
really
is very
big spenders,
different.
sure.
Yeah, I mean they can definitely afford it now with Champions League football, but just to bring it in. So can they afford it? Can they not? And then we have the buyback clause, which protects us, I guess, because we can always have the first refusal on the 21 million. If you ever want to come back to the Premier League, look, for me, what I think, if Stuttgart don't play it, he'll be more than happy to stay here. I don't think that's the case. I think there's this sort of agenda which is being made up that he hates it here. If he has any chance of coming back, he'll be gone in seconds. I think if he came back here with a German manager, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Everything will be good. He's a player at the end of the day. He has to be professional. He can't go on strike. And he said that. I don't want to be
Look at the Levi Colwill situation with us. It's really similar, but we're on the other side of the foot. I mean, Levi was... whether we like to hear it or not, really just using us to get a better contract at Chelsea, right? He was telling us we want to stay. Everyone was pretty convinced that he actually wanted to stay. Whether he ever did or not, only he truly knows the answer to that question. Most people around Brighton probably would have said he would stay. Oh, yeah, Levi will be fine. He's going to be a Brighton player. Then you've got Chelsea fans saying, absolutely no way. There's 100% no chance Colwill stays. We're then having a bit of a back and forth. It's literally exactly the same as Undav. In the end, Chelsea kept him. They gave him £100,000 a week, barely played him, and now he wants out again. What a surprise. And he probably will. But there's the same with Undav, really, isn't it? It's exactly the same conversation. It's Stuttgart saying he wants to stay there. It's us saying he wants to stay here. At the end of the day, it's all just to drum up a bigger contract and more money for both clubs and for the player. But I respect it. It's fine. Look, if any football clubs are out there right now that want any promotions, I'm here. I'll sell out if you want me to. I don't mind.
Same.
But no,
have your name.
It is what it is.
Have your name linked to an incredibly toxic Twitter account. That's what you want if you're a football agent, isn't it? You want people threatening to set themselves on fire.
Speaking of fire, that's really weird. Actually, you said that because someone said, Jack.
Fire.
Someone said, "How long?" Someone said, "What will it take? What will it take for Jack to set himself on fire this season?"
Well, obviously, let's say Hersler. I mean, this is just scenarios in my head. Let's say Hersler doesn't work out, and we bring in Potter if he hasn't got a job. That will make me set fire to myself.
Yeah, Ned said
I don't know, not that much.
No.
Probably maybe becoming England manager now. That'll be fine. I'll be fine with that. I can be a certified hater.
You can't be the England manager and also be the social media admin for Whitehawk, mate.
Yeah, well, that's the other
According
question.
to Mike King as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll put that one on ice.
Okay, I'll finish off with a better conversation.
Oh, no, I do have one more mini segment, but you.
Okay, one thing, because I pulled this shirt out the other day. I don't tend to wear Brighton shirts, to be honest.
Yeah.
But obviously the Hyper Turk, right? I like the badge. It's quite nice, right? I like the fact it's got the little blue around it. My point is, obviously Hyper Turk's gone now. We're not going to have this next year. Mm-hmm. Does Hyper Turk stay in a Brighton shirt? Because obviously, if anyone doesn't know, it's the railings around the seafront. Mm-hmm. Do we keep it? Because I think we should. And I really want it to be on the home kit. And I want it to be the badge like that, because I actually think that looks really cool. That's just me.
Well, then the badge would have to be black for the Hyper Turk to have enough.
Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, take that back. But anyway, I want this to be somewhere.
Yeah,
that's
somewhere in the kit. Yeah, I don't know if we could get it in the home kit. Maybe in the away kit.
Get rid of the yellow and put that in there.
I like her.
Give the seagull a Hyper Turk beak. That would be good, wouldn't it?
I always think the kit conversation, the kit conversation always gets a bit. I find myself laughing at it. I see people arguing over it on Twitter, which is always
it's every
hilarious. Year. People sending abuse to each other over what the kit or when the kit's going to come out.
Everyone forgets about it by September. It's so funny as well.
Until we have Adidas, I'm not going to be excited for kits because Adidas are the only ones that are going to make some sick kits for us.
What's the kit going to be? It's going to be blue and white. I could not care less. Could not care less about the home kit. But I do agree with you, Ryan. I really like the turquoise for
my only
the
thing with
away
home
kit. I think it's linked to...
As long as it doesn't look like a
as the
Tesco
goalkeeper
carrier
kit,
bag,
that'd be nice.
and as long as the lines aren't disproportionate, that's all I care
Yeah.
about. As long as you haven't got big, thick lines or stupidly thin lines or one colour's a bit... I don't like when it's like that. It's just blue and white, that's it. That's all I care about. If anything, you're going to put more blue than white, not more white than blue.
I think the only problem with the Hyper Turk is that it kind of is a little bit kit clashy if you've got the right shade of blue.
True,
but
especially
for
in the
me,
sun,
I like the kit. I like the colour because it actually has a link to the city. That's quite
Give
nice.
it the goalkeeper kit. That could be good if we had the goalkeeper kit. A Hyper Turk one.
I really like green and black is the colour. I like that last season. I didn't think that was too bad. I also really liked. I really like red and black. That'd
be nice to come back actually. I have a feeling it's going to be purple this year.
And I just not yellow. There you go.
Yeah.
Just don't want a yellow kit. I don't like yellow. When you wear it outside, it attracts wasps. That's
a conversation with Dead Ben.
Yeah, we're in the depths of this podcast, aren't we? Right, quickly. Okay, let's talk about something actually factual. That would be good, wouldn't it? Right. The fixtures came out, didn't they? Talking about wasps. Bloody hell.
This is
why you haven't been on for 2 months, Jack.
Whenever I wear it, wasps and bees they want to pollinate me. That's all they want to do.
Can you blame them, mate, when you look like that?
Yeah,
Bees.
exactly.
Right, let's talk about something factual. The fixtures were released,
terrible,
and I cannot believe how tough our start is, boys. We've been shafted. I feel like the Premier League want a narrative of Brighton failing massively. I mean, Everton away, I think it looks like they're going to make some decent signings this summer. Pretty tough first. And then Man United at home, and then Arsenal away. I mean, that August is rough. Very, very rough.
It's not good, is it?
It's not good. I'm really worried that we're not going to get a single point
9
in August.
points.
Last trip to Goodison.
Maybe a point.
Last trip to Goodison.
Yeah, that's true.
Enjoyed your time there. I quite like Goodison. It's got a nice old school feel to it. Always.
How many points are we getting in August, Jack?
I only fell backwards last time.
I'm going to go with... I'm going to be optimistic and go 5. Unbeaten. Fuck it, why not?
Christ. I mean, I thought optimistic would be saying
optimistic.
2.
No, I think, yeah, fuck it, why not? You know, I think new manager, they won't know what to expect. We've got, other than last season, we have a good record at Arsenal. We've got a good record against United.
Arsenal are a different beast.
And I imagine we'll do it in some stupid order, whereas, you know, me saying, oh yeah, we'll get 5 points. We'll probably get 4 points. We'll probably lose to Everton, draw with Man United, and beat Arsenal away.
Yeah. What I would love to see is
that
that unknown that we went into that Watford game. I know Watford probably a little bit worse than Everton. The unknown of Potter for his first game.
Yeah.
And we battered them 3-0, didn't we?
Oh,
I think that.
what a day out that was.
I would love to see something similar like that. I remember I was at Boomtown Festival.
Last day working in retail, that was for me.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Got back at half time. Yeah, I was buzzing, mate, because I missed like a good 2 years of football. I didn't go to the first 2 years of the Premier League. I didn't even really go because I was working in a supermarket for every Saturday and Sunday. Rubbish, absolute garbage. Hated it.
Yeah, do you know what? Famously
so
that day, this isn't really football related. That Watford game was where the backflip started. That was when Matt did the first backflip on the train.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and also I remember your good friend Brett giving me a sticker. Which said, like Brighton are going to Europe or something, and I just was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" I've also got a clip.
He knew. Brett Stevens knew.
I've got a clip of him that day saying Dan Burner's best player in Europe. So you know that was a great day out. So something like that.
That doesn't sound like Brett's completely waffling.
It's a great day out like that at Everton would be really good.
Should we talk about our running as well? So we got.
Oh, I was going to say
on the month of May. Oh, go on then.
I was going to say quickly, we do actually get a League Cup game now in August because we're not in Europe again. So we will have a League Cup tie. Why are you not excited?
It's quite fun. Put the reserve.
I want a nice little lower league away day.
If we get a Prem team, that's when I'll be livid.
Yeah. Barrow. I've never done that. Cambridge. That's the one I want.
Give us Wrexham. I want to be on the Disney dock.
Bromley could be fun.
I want to play Crawley in the league.
Right, in the League Cup? Yeah, Crawley. That would be good.
In a competitive fixture? When was the last time we played Crawley in a competitive fixture?
1992, played them in the FA Cup.
There you go, I wasn't born. I was minus 9.
Yes.
There you go.
Right, I'll run in. Newcastle, Wolves, Liverpool, and then Spurs. Wow.
Another easy one.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they don't want us to win or do
These
well, do they?
fixtures are rigged, right? Here we go, big thing. Because, right, you never see, ever, I can't remember it ever. They must be rigged. Seeing like City Arsenal on the last day, or like Liverpool United on the last day. You look
And someone did this about this. The last time top 6 played each other on the final day was 2009, and it was like Tottenham against someone. And the point of it was, they say, because they try and get all of the big clubs to play each other at prime time during Christmas or around the big times during the season, because that's what makes the best viewing. Because they don't want to have like a Manchester derby when someone's already champion. They want it to be competitive, neutral. It's a shame. Shouldn't work like that, but it does, and I sort of get it.
They should randomise it, and then if there's the fixture clashes or when you can't have too many teams playing in London or whatever, fix it that way. I feel like
have you seen West Ham's fixtures? They don't leave London until
is it November?
Until like early November.
Yeah, which is
like
crazy.
Every single game.
I remember a period of time we had like a London away day for like a whole month.
Yeah, was it? I remember. Was that like under Potter when we did quite well?
Yeah,
because I think
we had like loads of London games and we won all of them, or at least we drew most of them.
There's only two teams who have ever beaten Tottenham and Arsenal away in the same week, which is us and Hull. That was under Potter, yeah.
I do remember, because we're singing North London is ours, weren't we?
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't go to Spurs because I was like, don't know about Spurs. I think we're doing something. And I was like, I don't know about Spurs. I'll just leave it for this year. Yeah. And then we won there. And then every time I've been to Tottenham in my life, we've only ever lost and been pretty hard done by. And the only time I didn't go is that Trossard goal.
And we got
on BT.
I was going to say, we've got Palace around Christmas, haven't we? We always seem to get Palace around Christmas.
There you go, see? Big game. They want to put it on Sky, mate.
Exact same game week. We've got them at home this time, I think.
Yeah, at home on Saturday, the 14th of December, which will probably get moved to a week night or something.
And then we've got Palace away in April, I think, haven't we?
Yes.
I had it convinced that Ipswich would be our first game at home. I really did. I just had it in my head. I was like, that's the first game of the season, Ipswich.
And then
actually, I quite like home games as the first game. I don't really like away first games of the season. I prefer home. Especially Everton. That's such a trap. For no reason as well. Why? Last time Everton, I was looking forward to Goodison for the last game in like February. That'd have been fine with me, or October. No, that just gave me October. Like, why are we putting that in August?
I don't think I've ever been.
And especially Arsenal. Why putting Arsenal in August? What's all that about? Arsenal is an April
back to back
game.
with Man United as well.
Yeah, there's just some games that are that time, and Arsenal away is not an August fixture. And Everton away is especially not a first game of the season. That's just wrong.
I remember we had Arsenal pretty early on in our first season. Sorry, this is just missed.
Man United at home, first home game. What's all that about? Actually, I give you that. 2018, wasn't it? It was like one of our first ones.
Sorry, Mr. Encyclopedia's here. I remember it being very early in the season, Arsenal away. I think we lost 2-0. Nacho Monreal scored. So you know how
And
Alex Iwobi, 12 o'clock kickoff it was. Because I had to come down from Huddersfield for that one.
Not even 12:30.
But I'm looking for. We've also got like a nice little pre-season at QPR. That'll be a fun little away game.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the sun. I don't think I've ever been to Goodison when it's not been like shitting it down with rain and like depressingly bleak.
You don't have a heat wave and it rains just for that day. It makes sense.
We were all going to play each other like twice, aren't we? So. You know what it is.
That's how it works, Jack. To be fair,
the only annoying one. The only one I will say, just quick final note. The only annoying one is Ipswich away on a Tuesday night. It just it stinks of Luton. Stinks of Luton away.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't even realise it was. So that's great. That's just ruined my holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we're approaching now, Mark. I can't believe it, Ryan. We were saying about getting half an hour would have been and now we somehow managed to waffle for an hour. Well, you two have. I've just sat back and asked questions, but
I just thank you for all the suggestions as well. Like there were some good talking points.
Cheers. Yeah, Jack being set on fire, being the admin of Whitehawk. Cutting edge stuff from the Seagulls Social fan base.
Thank
you very much.
What a load of garbage. How do people listen?
We appreciate the questions. Yeah, thank you for that. It's been really, really hot. My brain's absolutely fried. Ryan Adset, thank you so much. Jack Albion, always a pleasure. Never a chore.
I'll be back in 2 years probably after this.
When are you flying to Japan, Tokyo?
I'm going on the 18th of July, so looking forward to that.
We'll probably get you on before that, I imagine.
Yeah.
Busy playing football.
I don't know. I'm not bringing my laptop, so I couldn't really do one live from Japan.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Just go to an internet cafe and do some.
Yeah, I'll go to an internet cafe and just talk really loudly from a culture which is like definitely they like people talking quietly and not being really loud.
Yeah, you're gonna fit in perfectly, mate.
Yeah, I wonder if you can do a backflip on the train in Japan. There's only one way to find out.
You were referring to speed. Oh, yeah, right, no, yeah. No, you're referring to Matt doing the flip,
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's it. Subscribe, listen on Spotify, Apple, all that nonsense. Comments below should be Pascal Gross, we want you to stay. No, we don't. Oh, I can't really see it. It's quite blurry.
No. I've pretty much cut it all off, to be honest. I
thought I'd mix it up.
Wait, turn to the left and right. Oh, yeah, it's really short.
Yeah. I was going to buzz it, but I left it pretty much there. But also, I bottled the buzz. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Pascal Gross, we want you to stay. And also rate Ryan's new haircut out of 10. Be kind.
What a
okay. We'll see you another time. Take care.
Bye.
Rate my hairline.